Welcome, friends. Let us together rebuild this world so that we may live, laugh, and lore.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
Oh, that took.
Program loaded and ready.
Make it so.
Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Lore podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Tony.
And I'm Mark. And we're back with another Avatar: The Last Airbender episode.
Wow. Isn't it? I mean, it's almost like we finished stride with it or something.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to get back in the world. Before we get into it, Tony,
Yep.
I have a little bit of a rant, okay?
Oh, love to hear it.
For our listeners. I watched
I love rants.
every episode of the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender TV show on Netflix, okay?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I want to give a review real quick of it.
I'm listening. All
I was
yours.
texting Paul during it. So
'Cause he watched it.
Paul watched the first 10 minutes of it, and he said he had a few beverages and then stopped because
Denied
he
it,
was
yeah.
very upset. So here's my take on it.
That's
I
fine.
watched the first episode, and I didn't mind it, but it was clearly rushed. So it's got about half of the amount of episodes as the original cartoon.
Okay.
So they combine episodes, which is fine, but they
And then
tend
the
to
other
leave some
thing
stuff
too,
out.
they're long, right?
Yeah, they're about like at 45 minutes or whatever.
Oh, because the original episodes were 20.
20, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Still leave some stuff out though, and they add. I don't mind what they added, but they started to change way too much. So
Which is so funny.
yeah,
You have the source material right there.
right. I'm just like
Just don't bother with live actions then. Why is no one understanding this? I don't get it. But sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. But
Yeah,
I
so-
got my own live action rant. But yes.
I mean, they just changed stuff on Kyoshi Island, like right out of the gate. They changed stuff in the Northern Water tribe.
I heard like the dynamics of the characters sometimes get a little
Dynamics of the characters were changed. Oh, the biggest screw up was Omashu. So they put the inventor. Remember, the inventor was in the
Yeah.
Western Air Temple, I think, or Northern Air Temple.
Yeah, that was the whole point of the rotten eggs.
Yes, but that was in Omashu
Yep. Yeah.
in the show, which is not in the original. So that was that was weird.
Oh, so he's not in the air temple. He's in Amasha.
Yes, and so
Okay,
all the
weird.
stuff happened in Omashu with the inventor, and gets arrested in the middle of a protest, and that's how he gets to meet Boomy. Boomy didn't even hide himself; like it was almost instant reveal. Who
Hey, I'm Boomy.
Yeah,
Because as a kid, that was end of the episode, or toward the end of the episode, where it was like, who is this guy?
I wanted Crazy Boomy. We got a little bit of Crazy Boomy, but not a whole lot. It was more Angry Boomy. The Aang had been gone for 100 years. I'm like, okay, that's probably how he really would have reacted, but I wanted to see fun.
Yeah.
Aang didn't really have to do any crazy trials because Sokka and Katara were busy. So Jet was in Omashu too. Omashu was the city that Jet was going to blow up.
Yeah.
So they made Omashu the epicenter of everything.
Huh.
They also messed up. So they had.
Budget? Yeah, I don't know why they would make that decision.
So they also messed up Secret Tunnel.
What?
They made it brother. Familial love. So Sokka and Katara go into the tunnel.
Oh.
I know, right? So
Yeah.
when they go into the spirit world and he's got to go find Roku or whatever,
Yep.
because he's so strong, he accidentally pulls Katara and Sokka in with him, and they get kidnapped by Ko, the face stealer.
Dude.
And that's why he goes to see Roku, because apparently Roku... Anyway, they changed a lot.
Yeah, why did they bring both of them?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. It's an individual soul searching
So
journey.
I was very disappointed with it. Now, what I did like is their bending was really good. It was very accurate to the cartoon.
Yep.
The name pronunciations were good.
Okay.
And I also liked they added more time with each, him. So when he was talking to Roku, they added stuff. Loved that. When he was talking
a
to
little more
Kyoshi.
depth. Yeah.
Loved that. And when he went to the Northern Water Temple, or Water Tribe, he met the previous waterbending avatar, which you didn't see in the cartoon. You got to talk to him, Koruk. So I really like that, too.
Yeah.
So they added some stuff.
Because isn't that the third one, right? It was Roku, Kyoshi.
Koruk, and then
okay.
then the female airbending avatar. I forget what her name is.
Yeah, I don't remember it. But that's cool that they have that in.
In the original cartoon, in the Air Temple, they have all the previous avatars, which is a lot. But in this one, each tribe has their most recent avatar, which to me that makes sense
Yeah.
because he's the most in recent memory.
Yep.
But anyway, so I like that, but a lot of it was so. Just
Good
to
and bad.
preface that to the listeners. So,
Yeah. Good and bad.
yeah.
Now, would you recommend it to somebody? I mean, that's my biggest thing with some of these live action remakes and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, how would you go about recommending it? Would it be like, hey, if you're a really diehard Avatar fan, like, don't even bother?
Right.
But if you're like, hey, I'm very casual or never even seen the show anymore, that might be good because then they don't
If
see
you've never seen the show or you didn't really grow up with it, then I would recommend it. But
Nice.
otherwise, you're not going to like it.
Yeah. It's kind of like how like, the Rings of Power. Like, fundamentally, like, if you know nothing of Tolkien, but you just want to see some really amazing, you know, scenes and somewhat, I won't even say it. Well, I mean, somewhat good storyline, barring the half-elf kid, and yeah, whatever. I'm not even getting. That's a whole other argument. But my point being is like, yeah, how you recommend it to other people is really important because that kind of shows if you really like it or not. You know.
Yeah. So they're already approved for seasons 2 and 3, and I'm excited to see a live-action Toph. So I might give it a second chance.
Okay.
I haven't decided yet. We'll see.
I forgot. Only season 1's out.
Yeah.
And that's book 1
Yep.
or book 2. Are they just doing each book season?
Each book season.
Okay.
And so.
Okay. Because I thought they rushed it. I was like, what the heck? You only have so much content.
The other gripe was, so Katara does some waterbending training.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we see Aang waterbend once.
Really?
Maybe once at the very end, but you don't see him do anything. So, like, he
That's
masters
like the whole
water.
shtick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, him and Katara train. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird, so.
Yeah, that's where I heard some of the dynamics is kind of off. Because, like, there's a lot of individualized time with Katara and Aang bending and teaching each other. And that's, like, a lot of the scenes in...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Book 1 of the animated show.
Because I almost got really mad because when Boomy tried to throw like a rock at him, like a huge boulder, and Aang stopped it, and I almost got out of my seat. I'm like, is he earthbending right now? And then you could see the tufts of air, and I'm like,
oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
All right, we avoided that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, here's the other thing, too. I think it's so tough when you have an element like air. And by the way, you should get back on topic really quick. But it's so tough when you have an element like air to show that visually, especially for a live action. So I think they're almost bold to do live action like that because I will say, like, air is nothing. Like, in the animated show, they're able to kind of, you know, fuss with it a little bit and make it a little bit more, not so, you know, transparent, but they could put, like, opaque and it's, like, a little light and whatever. So, I don't know. That's where, if you stop the boulder, it's like, if you didn't see those tufts or anything, you'd be thinking, he actually airbended, or earthbended.
Yeah. It's easier to draw than to animate. Or,
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's live action. Yeah. Especially now.
Because the air's
with
clear, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so the topic, Mark.
Yeah.
So we got a what if, right? Mm-hmm. And so...
First Avatar what if.
So this is prime time. This is all great stuff. But we have what if Iroh took over Ba Sing Se,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I was trying to think about that because his son... Okay, I'm sorry.
Liu Ten, yeah.
Yeah, Liu Ten, wouldn't have died?
Yeah, I think he has to live for this because that's what made him stop. Otherwise, he would have kept going. Yeah.
Yeah. So something happens where... Because that's what I was like, is the what if, like, something happens with the son where he lives and then in direction... Like, by him living...
Yes.
He takes over Ba Sing Se. So really the what if is not Iroh taking over Ba Sing Se, it's Liu Ten living. That's the what if.
Correct.
Sorry, that
You're
was
right.
my bad. I looked up my notes really quick, and I very focused heavily on Iroh, clearly.
Yeah.
So
Well,
when
me
I looked
too.
at the notes...
Yeah, Liu Ten's not.
Yeah, when I looked at the notes, I kind of I lost track of what the actual what if was. But Liu Ten living, that's the what if.
Well, we know nothing about Liu Ten, so it's hard to gauge what he would do without knowing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it is funny to think that, yes, he lives. But now we can talk about him more. I have some other things about him.
The biggest devastation is we don't get Leaves on the Vine. That
yes, I
tearjerker
think
of a
that's
song,
number one.
right?
Yeah.
That's a real bummer, but...
Yeah, I think that's number one. That was my number one note, actually.
Which, sorry to go back to the show, I did like how they do it. So, Iroh has 2 voice actors. The original one died in the cartoon. And the second one refuses to sing that song because he says that's Mako's song. Because a lot of people ask him to sing it, and he's like, I can't do it. It's not my song.
Yep.
They honored that in the show, so they show Liu Ten's funeral, and in the background, it's like the tune of Leaves on.
Oh, but
and I'm
not
like,
singing.
Oh, that was a great way to do it. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Good bend. Yeah. Bend the rule a little bit. But yeah. No, that's awesome. But yeah, that was my first note out of here, was just basically saying, hey, by the way, we're not going to have Leaves on the Vine. But Mark, would you like to provide some context here?
Yes.
Because I think context is important.
Yes. So we're in full swing of the Fire Nation's invasion, okay?
Yep, they're wanting to take over.
The air nomads have been dead for 90 plus years, okay?
Yep.
It's actually year 95 AG, so 95 years after.
Yep.
And Iroh, the top general, the crown prince, firstborn son of Asulan,
Exactly.
leads the charge on the impenetrable walls of Ba Sing Se. That's literally what it means. is
Allegedly, yeah.
Impenetrable city.
Yeah. Oh, is that really Ba Sing Se?
Yeah,
Is
it's one of the
okay.
episodes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, it's not Na Sing Se. That would be penetrable, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now I remember. Okay.
And so he leads it, and so Iroh's been raised in this. He is gung-ho for the Fire Nation. He thinks this is a just war.
Yep.
Then he sees his son gets killed on the battlefield. This is the main timeline.
Yep.
And that changes his character completely. He abandons the siege. Without their leader, the Fire Nation loses, and that's a win for the Earth Kingdom.
Yep.
He goes back to the Fire Nation in shame, and Ozai uses that against him to
kind of usurp his
birthright and become the Fire Lord.
Wow.
But it's a metamorphosis for Iroh to become the
wise, chill,
yes, father figure to
mentor.
Zuko,
Yeah.
leader of the White Lotus, like the Resistance,
Which
like,
is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because he's the Grand Lotus of the White Lotus or something.
Grandmaster, yeah. And like in the final
Yoda
episode arc, he leads the charge to reclaim Ba Sing Se for the Earth Kingdom.
Yep.
It's like a big full circle moment for him. He burns the Fire Nation flag and reveals the Earth Kingdom.
Yep.
It's a big deal for him. You know?
That is such a cool scene, and what a cool character arc. Really where you started from where you are. And, yeah, and then his biggest thing is just carrying a tea shop in Ba Sing Se. That's all he wants to do. So even moreover, I was reading on his Wikipedia stuff. I can't remember what Avatar's is called. I think it's just Avatar Wikipedia. I don't know if there's the last Airbender Wikipedia. I don't know if there's anything
Avatar
special.
Wiki or whatever.
Yeah, but the whole point is with Iroh is he does his tea shop, feels like he served enough tea across everybody, and then what he ends up doing is he goes to the spirit world, not dead, but on his own choice, and he just serves tea to the spirits.
Yep, and doesn't die. So
Doesn't die. So technically,
Korra meets him in that
the spirit world, right? Yeah.
And
which is so crazy.
It's a lot like the Tea Party from Alice in Wonderland. He's like, he's essentially the Mad Hatter character, but he's not crazy.
Yep.
So
he's just wise. But I thought that was really cool. So that's the main timeline, right? So I just wanted to establish the main timeline just for those who either needed a quick refresher. I needed a quick refresher myself. So no, that's great context.
Yeah. So now we're gonna change it.
Lu Ten lives.
So I think he carries through and he takes over Ba Sing Se for the Fire Nation.
Now, is Lu Ten in the battle with him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember if he was going somewhere else or anything like that.
No, he's there in Ba Sing Se. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think they take over Ba Sing Se.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some overall strategy maybe Lu Ten and or Iroh comes up with and is like, oh, the sewer system. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like Helm's Deep in Lord of the Rings, right?
Yes.
Unpenetrable wall. What are you going to do? Just keep throwing people at it? No, you kind of have to think about the problem. What do? You blow up the wall. You find there has to be some sort of, issue, which is so funny because every single time it's the sewers.
Yeah.
Whenever someone says impenetrable wall, every single time it's the sewers, which makes sense. Plumbing has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It has to go somewhere. I mean, you can't, unless you have someone like hauling that out every day, which that'd be a horrible job. But
using the catapults to launch it.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do?
All right, it's the turd catapult.
Yeah, let it go. Yeah. It's just 200 miles to the west. I don't know.
Anyone who lives in this line may get some droppings.
Yeah, these are really fertilized farmlands.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you do, right? Yeah, you put it back in the land. But my point being is that it's always a sewer. So let's assume something like that. Able to take a strike team in there. Regardless, they're able to get Fire Nation warriors or soldiers into Ba Sing Se.
Mm-hmm.
Lost for Earth. Jeez, what am I thinking? I was going to say Earth Temple, but no, Earth Nation. It's a loss for them.
Earth Kingdom, yes.
Earth Kingdom, thank you. Yeah, I was about to say they did Kingdom Nation. Sorry, but the Fire Nations win on the Earth, loss for the Earth Kingdom. That's what I'm looking for. So we're there, right?
Yes.
My initial thoughts.
Okay.
Is now they have the impenetrable walls, and they also understood the weakness, and they start going. It's kind of like once again Death Star. Hey, we just board up the hole. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
we know. Yeah.
Figure out, do what you need to do. And I think this unbelievably bolsters Iroh's claim to the throne. He already has it. He doesn't really
Correct.
need to, but I feel like now it's indisputable.
Yes.
Ozai, short of some Peter Baelish nonsense, no chance that he could usurp Iroh.
Yeah. But I think he's still jealous. I think he still wants it.
Yes, he
So this-
1,000% wants it.
So this is still 4 years before Aang's discovered. I'm just going to put
Correct.
that out there.
Yep. And then I think the other thing, too, is that now it's powers between sons and fathers. Liu Ten, underneath Iroh, understanding that his responsibilities, he's now trying to learn everything from Iroh. Iroh, once again, you could argue that he's still wise underneath all that. Now, granted, his ideals might
be- yeah.
his ideals might be more centered around the Fire Nation, but regardless, he's still that mentoring, that wise, that patient man. And I think that Lieutenant is going to be, come up as a great son. And I
Yes.
think he's going to continue to learn underneath his father. I think there's a really stability there. What I'm thinking, though, is Zuko and his dad Ozai. They're going to be doing some stuff. And I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Oh, yes. I do.
Gotta
have
be
some- I
something.
do have some thoughts.
Yeah.
So before then, though, So the war's been going on for 100 years, right? And the Fire Nation soldiers are getting tired.
When you say 100 years, does that count the air? Like what's that duration? It's
Yeah, I mean, since
when they complete the air.
Yeah, so it's at least 95 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the fall of the Earth Kingdom, I think their conviction is renewed.
Oh,
So-
1,000%.
So now they have fire in their bellies. Like the soldiers are ready to fight more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it won't be long. So eventually, the Northern Water Tribe is going to be the next target. But they're not ready because they've got to
Well, they got to regroup.
bolster up. Yeah, and then probably
And they
eliminate the
also-
rest of the Earthbenders. That's probably their goal, right?
They also know the comet is coming within 5-10 years,
Yes, and that's when they're gonna.
and that's when they go to water. because that's the only time they're ever going to beat water. That's the nice part about these balancing of elements is really, you can't. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Water, fire. That's just kind of a stalemate. At that point, it's just War Machine. Whose War Machine's better? But
Yeah.
But the comet's going to really turn the tides.
So
And I think everybody knows that too.
I think yes.
I think that's why everyone's going to be like,
the water, the Water Nation are trying because the Water Nation probably finds out about the eclipse, so that's gonna be their,
yep, that's going to be their big
their
thing.
moment
Yep.
to right. Okay, so Ozai,
Yep.
like I said, he still wants the throne. At some point, I think he might. My thoughts were that he would challenge Iroh to an Agni Kai.
Nice.
I mean, he's like Azula. He's hot-headed. He thinks he's better,
Yep.
and he may be stronger, but Iroh's just. He's smarter in battle.
And this is sanctioned, by the way, by the Fire Nation. Is that correct?
Yeah.
This
If
ritual of
Agni Kai.
Yeah.
If
okay.
you challenge them to an Agni Kai,
I have to accept it.
yeah, I think he would lose. And either
Wait,
at
who
this
would lose? Iroh?
Ozai, I think Ozai
Okay,
would lose.
good. I was about to say.
I think Azulan's still alive. If not, Iroh becomes Fire Lord. But at this point, Ozai has shamed himself, and I think he's the one who gets banished.
Well, because it's a because it's a total power play.
Yes.
1,000%.
Yes.
Because they were going to go, whoa. He just captured Ba Sing Se.
Mm-hmm.
We've never been stronger. And so in our moment of strength, you want to prove a crack? You know what I mean? Why would you take out one of our greatest generals?
Yeah.
And the future king.
Right.
Which clearly has bolstered some, love and,
Yeah.
respect across the community from doing what he did.
So I'm curious to see what you think. So he's banished.
Yeah, I think he banished.
Does Zuko go with him? Does Azula go with him? Does the mom protect their children and not let either of them go? I don't know is Ursa still there? I don't know.
So I thought about this. I think one of the pivotal moments is Zuko still has this need to prove himself. And it's weird. Does he go with his father, thus proving it to his father? Or does he stay with the Fire Nation, proving himself over his father, being like, I'm not my father.
Right.
I'm going to become stronger. Azula, very hot-headed, like her father, respected what her father did. And I think she thinks that she can help him in his banishment, build up his strength. I think Azula goes with her father, and I think Zuko stays. Zuko and his mother stay. I kind of want to go that route. That was
Okay.
what I was thinking.
Okay.
I mean, what's your thought?
No, I think that's good because you're right.
something there. Because I think that changed Zuko a little bit too, because now he's more influenced by his mother.
Yes.
And I think that is a positive influence. But I still think this need to prove himself is going to be big. So whether that's a need to prove himself as being the greatest captain underneath Iroh, or is that an advisor to Luten? So then now when Luten becomes, you know what I mean? Like, or is he just biding his time going when Iroh leaves? I'm going to be kind of like that whole train with your brother, then you know the true, you know what I mean, Sasuke, Naruto. You train with them, you know their strengths and weaknesses, and then you challenge them.
Yes.
Maybe he's just buying his time, and that's his main scheme of challenging Luten.
Yeah. I like that. Okay.
I don't know. There's something there.
Yeah, I agree.
But maybe with well, because that's the thing. If he's influenced by his dad, it's going to be more of a negative run. It's going to be more power grab. But if he's influenced by his mom, then it might just be, I just want to be a really great general of this army and serve underneath Iroh and Luten and their descendants.
If he's influenced by his mom, and because she might reveal to him that he's a descendant of Avatar Roku, and that could inspire him to seek out the Avatar and be like, I can teach you firebending.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of having a whole metamorphosis and coming to that
so then
the hard way.
Yeah. So and then once again, even though Azula was already the negative character, more of the villain, I think she's just going to double down and be more of the villain.
Because
So
they're both crazy.
yeah, I think that's really nice. I think that ties up Zuko's character really well. Mm-hmm. I think let's just say he's influenced by his mom. He does all that.
Yeah.
Figures out he's by the descendant of the Avatar. Therefore, he should teach them. Okay. And maybe that's what he's trying to do. Let's be a great general. But one day, if the Avatar comes, even if Iroh doesn't want it or anything, I will fall back, banish myself, and teach the fire.
Because he reflects on his great grandfather, Avatar Roku, and realizes his duty is not to the Fire Nation; it's to the world.
Yeah. And I think
How it used to be. Yeah.
Maybe that's where also some dissents there, because I think Iroh is still, now he's all Fire Nation.
Yeah.
All the time. Lieutenant might be all Fire Nation all the time.
And he breaks from the family. Yeah.
And I think Zuko is the stone in the river that basically says, no.
I want to redeem the Fire Nation.
I want to redeem the Fire Nation. We should be looking toward this. Whether they agree or disagree, I still think he's going to leave on his terms.
Yes.
Nothing crazy going on. I don't think there's going to be a civil war or anything, but I think he's going to leave on his terms and then teach the Avatar. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good on Zuko. Wow. Tie it in a bow.
Boom.
Ship it. Yeah, done.
Yes.
All right. So then what else happens? Yeah.
Okay, so I think I thought about this a lot. I think we just have to have Aang appear as normal. In 99, he gets discovered by Katara and Sokka.
Oh, yeah. You can't change that.
So, but it's Ozai.
Luten's death's not that bad.
It's Ozai searching for him. Ozai and Azula. Okay.
Oh, 1,000%.
So Ozai and Azula, when they get to the Southern Water Tribe, they're more hot-headed and they're a lot more vengeful. Mm-hmm. I think they completely wipe out the Southern Water Tribe.
Without a doubt.
And Katara and Sokka and Aang make it out. They're the only survivors. Like, they watch Grand die. Like, there's nothing there for them to go back to.
One really quick thing. I also believe that Ozai's trying to bolster his respect and power amongst the Fire Nation. So he's already going to the Southern Water Tribe, not in search of the Avatar, but he's like, if I take, like, I know it's no bossing say, but I'm strong. I'm powerful. Yeah. I want to flex my muscles, and that's why he's there. And it just so happens that, oh, by the way, the Avatar's there.
I'm going to eliminate a nation. It'll be one less thing for them to do.
Yeah, because when you think about it, Ozai sends Zuko out there because he's like, I'm basically going to banish you, but, like, you're annoying. I don't want to deal with you. Because I don't think they get intel that you know what I mean? They don't get any intel that the Avatar's down there, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, go search for the Avatar. Where's the farthest place you can go? Okay, the Southern Water Tribe. Yeah. And then he just sends him over there. So that's why I kind of wanted to give them a purpose.
And he sees the beam. That's why. That's the only reason he goes to the Southern Water Tribe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just want to give them purpose of why they want to go down there. But yes, they're hot-headed. They're going to take over everything. And I think that's going to fundamentally change Katara and Sokka.
Oh, big time.
Because I think instead of being this...
At first they are wary, especially Sokka was wary about it. And he's like, oh, man.
We cannot. Yeah. We are...
We're in this now.
Yeah. We're tied. Our hands are literally tied to this.
So like I said, they leave. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So it continues as normal. They go to Kyoshi, right? He's getting, stuff from that. I don't know. Is there any other big things that happen before, I think obviously, I don't think they're going to make it to the Northern Water Tribe by the end of Book 1.
No. But I feel like the tension there is going to be Azula and Ozai once again going in and trying to show their power. I think they're going to be like, hey, why was he in the Southern Water Tribe? Because I think they do see him. They have some inkling that, yes, the Avatar has returned. Mm-hmm. Yes, he was in this area. They're going to also, because they know how, basically the Avatar works. The fact that he has to learn water bending. So I think they're going to do a blockade at the northern one.
Okay.
Northern Water Tribe. And I think that's going to be a little bit more contentious than what it kind of was. Now, they can't do like a full-on because that Water Tribe is more powerful than assuming the banishment and minor generals that, Ozai is able to gather. But I feel like there's going to be more tension at the end. I also feel like, too, that Zuko wants to be more aggressive in the search of Avatar, but it is Iroh who pulls him back. Azula and Ozai have no one to pull them back.
Right.
So I feel like that is going to be a much more violent spree on trying to find the Avatar. They're leaving embers in their wake, and I feel like that's one of the bigger changes of Book 1.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more issues.
So Aang and Katara have to go there because they have to learn waterbending, and that's where the only masters are.
Yeah.
So you're right. There's blockade, but I think the Fire Nation still loses at the end of Book 1.
1,000%. They have to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way they're going to gain the upper hand. But the problem is that they're much more hotter on their heels. Like they're not slow rolling this. They're doing everything they can.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is where the big kicker is.
Yeah.
Where the individual there's no really big changes, but the individual actions in these scenes are going to be changing.
Yeah. So Book 2 looks a lot different. So, because it's Earth, and because Ba Sing Se fell, I think the Fire Nation has expanded their presence significantly in the Earth Kingdom.
Oh, 1,000%.
So, Toph is either on the run or being hidden because she's a bender, and her parents are a wealthy family. Do they pretend like her daughter? She doesn't bend. They keep her in hiding. I don't know what Toph, they do with her.
Yeah, what are the geopolitics when you take over a area? I mean, do they? They're no longer the Earth Kingdom. It's ruled by the Fire Nation, right? Mm-hmm. So, it depends on how the world does it, right? Because they could just eliminate all the wealthy families, or the families have so much wealth that now they are Fire Nation sympathizers.
Yes, they're loyalists. Yeah,
and I think maybe that's what happens, where they're Fire Nation sympathizers. I think Boomy has to either die or political prison or banishment.
I've got a note on this.
Oh, okay, great. So I think that's exactly what happens. I think they're Fire Nation sympathizers. They're now in a position where they were fortunate enough to have so much wealth that they have to now give it to the Fire Nation. I think Toph recognizes this, doesn't want to do it. So I think they hid her bending powers. But I think she needs them. I don't know. I still think she's a master bender. She can teach Aang. That's my point.
Yeah.
She's not like she just didn't get taught like bending. She has bending abilities, but
she's being hit. I mean, she's a small, helpless blind girl, right?
Yeah.
So I think she hides it. No one knows. And she meets Aang through the trap. They get hooked up, and she leaves.
Yeah.
And,
so I still think the teaching of bending is through Toph in Book 2. Toph's background's a little bit different, but yeah.
So I think Book 2 ends like this, Tony, okay?
Yes, I got
I don't know the details of how we get there, but...
we get there.
This is Book 2. Okay. We see... Because I think at the end of Book 2 in the real show, we see the fall of Ba Sing Se. Or at least that's toward the end. But Ba Sing Se's already fell. I think Omashu is the last Earth Kingdom stronghold now.
Yeah.
And I think it's a siege on Ba Sing Se. Bumi dies, but it's Ozai who leads the charge. Ozai takes over Omashu, and it's to kind of redeem himself a little bit. And now it's a strong, so now he plants himself there, okay?
So now you have Ozai, second strongest.
In Omashu.
And then Ba Sing Se by Iroh.
Book 3 opens up kind of like a Two Towers-esque situation. You got Ba Sing Se, and you got Omashu.
Yeah.
And Ozai's like...
Khazad-dûm, that's the other one.
Yeah, brother, I'll help you. But I think in the background, he's looking for his opportunity to take out Iroh.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. Well, he's probably looking at it as, oh my gosh, you redeemed yourself, right? Yeah. Like, you've learned your place. Because I think that's Iroh. Like, once again, he's giving his brother the benefit of the doubt. You've learned your place. You've done a great effort for the Fire Nation. Love it. I'm going to fully redeem you back into the fold.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I think that'd be good, solid. Yeah, Book 3.
So it's either that, or it could develop into like a brother civil war.
I think the tensions are there.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the third book?
Fire.
Oh.
So it could turn into a civil war, and I don't know what you had.
Because he knows air, and then water, earth, fire, and this is the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I think there has to be a civil war.
Yeah. And either way, like, I don't know. So Zuko obviously goes to help Aang. Maybe Lu Ten does too, and Lu Ten and Zuko help Aang take down both their fathers. Like, I don't like.
Oh, how do you resolve the end of
Yeah.
that? Yeah, I think so. Here's the thing.
At this point, Iroh's probably Fire Lord. Azulan's probably died.
Dude, okay, actually, sorry. I think, yeah, 1,000% he's Fire Lord. I think that's without a doubt. Iroh's Fire Lord. But here's what I'm thinking. The eclipse, when does that happen? Is that book 3 or book 2? When do they become dumb powerful? You know what I'm talking about? The Water Nation?
So the eclipse, I think, happens at the beginning of book 3.
Is it the beginning of book 3?
I can figure
Because
out.
here's my think, Feely. I think the Water Nation, the Northern Water Nation, is looking at this world and going, "Oh my gosh,
It's book 3.
it's book 3."
Beginning of book 3.
Perfect. I think this is exactly what happens. Omashu just fell. They're looking at themselves, going, "Oh my goodness, there is no more strongholds for the Earth Kingdom." Ba Sing Se, Omashu are now in control with the 2 highest ranking, most powerful firebenders. Here's what we do. They know that they can sit and, you know what I mean, like, they can kind of sit and just, you know, because they're in their impenetrable cage, right? Just sit behind the thing and, you know, throw pot shots at your enemy. That's all they want to do right now, because Fire Nation knows that their, you know, water benders are going to be more powerful than ever. I'm thinking they do an all-out assault, a final resistance, and they try to go after Ba Sing Se, right?
Because they think they'll go after Omashu because it's weaker. Because they're not expecting.
Exactly. And the other thing, too, is they go, water, sewer system, we got this already.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think all attack happens. I don't think they're victorious, but I think it weakens Iroh to a state where now Ozai's going, this is our time.
Yeah.
Civil war. Boom, erupts out. And I think that's when, especially Zuko, looks at this and going, "Father, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
Like, you are willing to throw away total victory for the nation
Just so you can be
the leader.
Yeah.
Like, you're willing to do this. Like, this is insane. So, and I think that's wild. I think at that point, I think that's when Zuko separates himself fully. It's going, whoa, we have lost all sort of this stuff. Here's Iroh, you know, here's this, you know, we're totally off balance right now. So I think that's when Zuko goes to train Aang. Now, how do you believe Lu Ten's going to happen in this civil war? Do you think he's just going to be a faithful? I think Lu Ten and Azula have to battle each other. It's the classic father v father, son v daughter.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And I feel like that is a pinnacle point that's going to boil up to a point where I think, now hear me out, Mark. This is just end. I want to know what your thoughts are. The Civil War's happening. It boils up. We go episodes and episodes and episodes. But what ends up happening is Zuko trains Aang. Aang is now proficient.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say he goes to Spirit Turtle, figures out taking bending, everything like that. So, final battle's happening. It's a war of attrition. Azula, Lu Ten are going at it, battling it out. Zuko and Ozai are battling, going out. But
Aang has to go after Iroh.
Aang thinking he has to go after Iroh, right? Even though Zuko is like, doesn't really want to talk about the political stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but he's thinking that the aggressor is Iroh, because he's the leader of the Fire Nation. So how's the only way to stop this is going after Iroh. But I think there's this amazing, you know what I mean, cinegraphed, you know, fight scene. And then I think that's when Aang finally realizes, oh my gosh, like, Iroh's not being the aggressor. In reality, it's Ozai.
It's always Ozai.
And I think with Aang taking the fire abilities from Ozai to calm him down, Azula, something happens with her. You know, they resolve. Lieutenant does something. Who knows? But I think that's when Aang and Zuko once again show Iroh the way that, no, we have completely lost sight. Yeah. And I think that's the resolution here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, now he is the Fire Lord. He's top dog. Yeah. He's now looking at all this stuff going, whoa, we're way off.
Yeah. But he changes, and he changes his tune. Is that what you're saying?
In my head, I think that's what causes it, because the reason why I think he changes the tune is because he's already on this winning streak. Everything's happening really well. But the second that Ozai, once again for the second time,
he sees what it's done for his brother.
Everything away. He's looking at this going, oh my gosh. So that's why when I see the battle, Iroh cannot get himself to kill his brother. Yeah. Ozai will not. So it's an immovable object with an unstoppable force. Yeah. Ozai will not stop. So Aang is the intermediary. Yeah. And then, oh, lo and behold, his nephew Zuko abandoned his father, kin, same blood and everything, but abandoned his father, recognized that his true kin was Ruko. Yeah. Avatar Roku. So I'm so bad at names. Roku. And then realizes that, and I think that's his change of heart. I think it's those three elements coming into all this, and he's going, wow, like, we need change. But I would love to hear your thoughts, because
I agree.
Those are just my feelings.
I love that all. I agree 100%. But to usher in a new age, he steps down as Fire Lord, and Lieutenant is crowned as Fire Lord to signify a new age. Or even Zuko. Maybe Lieutenant says, I don't want it, because Zuko was part of the intermediary, and Zuko becomes Fire Lord. Still,
it could be Lieutenant still dies. Even that's what it says.
Yeah, Lieutenant still, he can't.
He dies by Azula.
It's like in Doctor Strange. It's a fixed point in time.
Yeah. There's always Zombie Strange. Yeah. You will always die. You know, the Pangolin in every episode. In every timeline. Yeah, I think, yes, let's resolve it that way. Azula kills his son. Yes. So there's another big
reason. Yeah. So he steps, and Zuko becomes Fire Lord.
Zuko becomes Fire Lord. Boom. Zuko becomes Fire Lord. And kind of restores balance. Iroh's willing to step down, and then he makes his tea shop in Ba Sing Se and still does everything else.
The ending's still the same. It's just how we got there is different, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about him as a character. Yeah, is it's like, I still think the resolution's there. Like, he could have lost himself, and I think he does lose himself by book 1 to 2. I think he's much more focused on the war efforts, and he's not really this mentor. He's mentoring his son, but it's a little different, you know, whatever. I like that resolution. I like that spin on it.
I like that.
Okay, I feel great.
I think that was good. Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko need to call us if they ever need.
Oh, those are two.
Yeah, if they ever need a sounding board.
Yeah, so. No. I love that. Yeah, sorry I took it over at the end, but
no, that's great. I think that was a much better tie up than I had. So
I was thinking about that for so long, because I was like, here's the thing. I came up with the Lord of the Rings What If, and then you brought in the Blue Wizards. Do you remember that?
Oh,
and I was like, oh, you're brilliant, Mark. And I sat and I was like, I even told Jen, I was like, I have to think of a resolution that ties up as well as the Blue Wizards.
That was good.
I am not doing my job.
You did good, Tony.
I had to think about that for so long. And I'm not like, you know what I mean, Avatar, I really enjoy it, but it's those character relations that I really focus on. I really like. So, but Mark, so with that being said, I think that's great. Yep. I totally appreciate it. This is super fun. I always love What Ifs. But talking about more fun, we got another ranking game going on.
Oh yeah. And this one is done by my better half, Taylor.
Yeah,
because Jenna did the last one. We had so much fun, we wanted to do it again.
We have to do it again, yeah.
And I'm glad that Taylor got to be a part of it. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right, Tony, you ready for this?
Yes.
So same rules as before.
Blindly ranking.
So I'm going to reveal the topic, and we're blindly ranking. We don't know what's going to come next. We can't change. After we're done, we can talk about how we would change it, but we can't change it live.
Yep.
All right, Tony. You ready for the first one here?
Yes. What's the category?
Okay. Category is character deaths. So how traumatic, how they affected you.
Oh, okay. So like, not like our previous one, which was like the most like painful we felt. This is how it affected us.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Like how devastating it was to you as an audience member or fan of the.
Gosh. If you put Spock in here, it's going to be game over.
Okay. First one. Albus Dumbledore is the first one.
Mark, this is going to sound horrible of me. In a weird way, his death is like, it's so tough, but it's such a resolution. I guess, okay, sorry. I'm thinking the story in general. Let's just say at that moment, we just know he dies by Snape. We know nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we don't know the whole reason
Correct.
why or anything. Oh man, I think he's a good level set. I'm gonna say 5.
It's high for me. I think it's. She started off. I know there's going to be more because she started off with a heavy. I'm going to go 4 because it was
Okay.
pretty devastating for me.
Oh no, it's a super devastating one, but it's one of those ones where I don't know, in such a weird way. And maybe this is horrible. He's just a super old guy. He lived a good life. You know what I mean? I don't know.
All right, number 2,
It did hurt though.
Boromir.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean,
It's right,
honestly,
it's right
in my head, this is clearly my top 3. Has to be. I'm willing to go 2 on this one.
Wow.
Boromir really struck me. I don't know why. It was something about him. Faramir's my favorite character, but Boromir, fundamentally, when I first saw that, I think it was like my first last stand I ever saw, and I think that really impacted. I was like, God.
I think I'm going to go 3. Yeah.
Okay. 3 and 4 for you. Oh, neck and neck.
All right, next. Gwen Stacy from
Oh,
The
this is
Amazing Spider-Man.
Andrew
I'm gonna be honest,
Garfield's girl.
it didn't affect me that much.
No. I'm saying a 10.
I was
That's
gonna
horrible.
say-
I mean, what affected me was his reaction.
Yes,
right.
not that-
Like it's crazy to think that for everything that he does, this is what happens to his girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like literally seconds late.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
And he redeemed himself in No Way Home.
yeah,
And that was awesome.
yeah.
But
And I'll be also honest. The reason why I'm also saying this didn't affect me at all. I got so tired of Spider-Man remakes that I think by the time I was watching it, I was
So The
kinda
Amazing
like,
Spider-Man 1 was really good, and then Sony got really involved in the second one, and the second one was cut. That's why there was not a third
Gwen
one.
Stacy died in the second one, right?
Yeah, that's the one she's talking
Yeah,
about.
second one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I was about to say. I was like, I remember the second one being like, yeah, whatever. And I watched that scene. I was like, oh, that was probably the most redeeming scene out of all of it. But
Yeah. Okay. Sirius Black. Oh my goodness.
dude, I will never.
You were convinced that
I
he was
was
coming back.
so
That's a heavy hitter for you.
convinced.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to put this one, but I have to. Because here's the thing. I'm glad you remember that. I remember fighting you guys.
Yeah.
Tooth and nail.
Like you were like he went into the arc.
He went into the
Yeah,
veil.
that means he can come back.
He
We're
went
like,
into the
no, he can't, Tony.
He even looked at Harry and went, like, he was like a stunned look every single time anyone ever got hit by a spell. Because just instant.
We saw it together in the theater, and you walked out.
I was
you were
so convinced. I'll put it as 1, just due to my convictions.
I'm trying to think. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4.
It
Might be 1 for me too. Because I don't think there's anything that was devastating.
The scary part is that
one.
we went 1 and 2 and we're in 4 right now, which is not. This is uncharacteristic. Yeah, no, 1000%. I remember fighting guys tooth and nail, and then also Harry's scream at the end where silence.
Yeah, right after he said, "Nice one, James."
Yeah. Oh, God, I love Sirius Black.
Okay, next one.
Yep.
Eddie Munson.
So
that's the guy from the most recent season of Stranger Things.
Oh, I see. I'm not a Stranger Things guy.
Tony, he was the leader of the D&D group. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That might put him up higher, but he's still probably 9. Sorry. Yeah,
It's lower for me too. I mean, it was a pretty
epic.
epic death, but it's probably lower for me too.
Yeah, I just know that they showed D&D a lot in Stranger Things. So
Yeah, I mean, so he was the leader of the second group. Obviously, there's the 4 main kids. So that's
9 for me.
9 for you. I did like him as a character. I'll give it a 7. It's a little higher for me.
Okay.
Princess Yue. It's pretty low for me. I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I will say in the show it was weird. So when they went into the spirit world, so first of all you saw the owl spirit right away.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love.
But because they changed it, so because she was touched by the moon spirit to give her life, she could go into the spirit world willy nilly.
Yep.
And she appeared as one of the foxes
okay, yeah.
and she talked to Sokka. It was weird. Anyway, so that's low for me. I'm gonna give her the 9.
I also give her 8. She's in the spirit world. That's rad. Not that sad.
Severus Snape. It's Harry Potter heavy. These deaths
Very
are
Harry Potter heavy. Oh my goodness. Dude, what a bad way. The reason why it affected me so much, I was like, of all the ways to die, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That just to get
Here's
bit by Nagini.
I feel terrible because I love Snape, but we have to address it the same way as we did Dumbledore. Because at the time, we thought when Dumbledore died, we thought Snape was evil, and it was devastating. We didn't know. When Snape died, we just thought, oh, yeah, finally, that guy. Then we find out all the memories.
Yeah, there was
and
something
stuff.
there right when that tear comes down and he collects it in
You're like,
memory.
you're
I'm
like, something.
oh. So I think when it says like impact, I remember thinking how barbaric it was. Like all the other deaths that happened, that one was barbaric. I'm gonna put it at a 4. I think that's my 4. I would like to put it higher, but at the same time too, I respect the fact that you're right. We didn't gain the resolution. If you would have spent 5 more minutes in the movie and then we saw all that, then it makes his death.
All right, I'm putting that as a 5 for me.
Okay.
I still got my 2 left. What's your highest number left?
3.
Right? Okay.
So I'm a little bit there. 3, 6, and 7.
Dobby. Okay, that's my 2.
Dang, dude, we're very HP heavy.
Yeah, Dobby's my 2.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Harry Potter. When he says that in the sand, 3. That's gotta be my 3.
Okay, I've got 6 and 8 left. We got
6 and 7. Yeah.
Okay, so we're right
at
at
the money. Oh.
Okay, next, Uncle Ben.
Oh man. Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a 6 because I feel like it's gonna be more traumatic than the last one. I don't know. I'm gonna
say 6. I'm gonna say 7. I'm holding out for the last one.
All right, and the last one, Tony.
Yep. Well, we have to put it down, but
Thorin Oakenshield.
oh man. I have to put it at 6.
I'm okay with it being the 8, but
yeah, I always felt bad for him. You know what I mean? He did have that big turnaround, and we're talking movies specifically here, not books.
Correct.
So,
he's a jerk. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't think I would change much of anything.
I think I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I like mine. I really like how Sirius Black was my number 1. I remember fighting on that tooth and nail.
Put Dobby as 2. Yeah, I'm okay with that. If I had Dobby a little lower, I'd probably bump him up. But I am at my 2. So.
Yeah, I did Sirius Black, Boromir, Dobby, which is honestly when that was mentioned. That was like
Boromir's my number 3.
Yeah. But all right, man, you want to do next one?
Yep. All right, Tony. The next one.
Yep.
Is most epic duels or battles.
Ooh.
Okay. And this is movie only, so don't think about any details from the books. Only what is portrayed on screen. Okay.
I will say I have my number 1, and I will literally hold it out till the end. And if Taylor did not put it down there, I'm gonna have a few words with her after this. You already know what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, but I don't want to reveal it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Number 1. Yoda versus Count Dooku in Attack of the Clones.
Classic.
He drops his cane and was.
I love that. Yeah. And I had the Lego set.
See his mini lightsaber for the first time.
Yeah. And Count Dooku's the curve red. Oh, dude.
My old master.
That was literally. I got that Lego set. I was so inspired by that fight. Oh man, dude. I think that's a 3 for me.
I'm level setting at 5 here.
What?
I feel like there's more. I think
you're insane. It's somebody level 3. That was a classic Count Dooku. That was like the most he ever fought. Well, he has a little bit of revenge in the Sith, but yeah.
The final battle of Harry Potter and Voldemort in episode 7. Well, yeah, 7.2.
Yeah, man. Here's the thing. Wizard battles are always so
kind of boring.
At that scale,
yeah.
I'm like, whatever. I kind of get. Weirdly enough, I'm gonna make it my 8.
Oh, because of the movies?
No, just 8 in general. Just because I don't know. I just think that it's just a lot of explosions, and it wasn't like I was a crazy movie. Now there's individual aspects of the fights, which it's kind of hard to be like, oh, just the whole battle. You know what I mean? It was like Molly Weasley versus Bellatrix. That's like that would be a different answer versus like all the battle. Because like in my mind, I'm just it's just the whole battle going on in the background.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm going to put it as an 8 as well. It's really not that exciting.
Yeah. And there's something funny about like duels in general. It's like, well, I mean, they don't really teach these guys, these spells. So what are they just doing? Expelling armists all the time? Where everyone else throwing killing curses? Like, that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? But
Avengers and Thanos in Endgame.
Ooh.
Oh, that's pretty epic.
That's
high
just
for
budget.
me.
That's just a budget. I mean.
Oh, man. Do I want to make it number 1?
I'm making mine 4. That was a good one.
It's good. Top 3 for sure. What else could be on here?
That's what I'm nervous about. I'm saving my top 2. I've got a very specific top 2.
It's number 3 for me.
Yeah.
Yours is what? Number 4?
4. I have a very specific top 2. I think that's the only thing helping me right now.
Anakin versus Kenobi, Episode 3.
Okay, there it is. There it is. 1.
Yeah, I mean
that was my number 1 the whole time.
He's got the high ground, right?
Oh,
that's clearly
the
number
Mustafar.
1.
That is the best sword, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I know it's lightsabers, but that is one of the best hand-to-hand combat.
And they actually
of
do
any
it.
Movie,
They're actually,
and they're not speeding it up.
Yep.
That is legit. Ian McGregor and Christian Haydenson, thank you. That actually do it.
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen, thank you. I was like, wait, how did I back that up? That's why I was messing up. I was like, wait, Christensen doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Hayden. But that is one of the best hand-to-hand combats ever seen on film.
It's
hands down. I will fight anybody on that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
The only close one is my number 2, and I hope is there. It's still in the same genre.
Ooh, Battle of Pelennor Fields.
Ooh.
It's where Theoden dies, right?
Yeah.
And the Witch King.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic battle, too.
Dang it. Oh. I'm saving my number 2 for... It might pop up, but honestly, Pelennor Fields is such a classic.
I'm okay putting that as 2. I'm going to be honest. That's my 2.
I'm going to hold out one more time.
Okay.
And this might be my change. This might be my change. I'll put it as 5.
5.
That kind of hurts me. I'd rather put that above
Man,
Thanos.
I've got some low ones to get rid of. This is
I
not
know.
good.
I've got 6, 7, 9, 10.
Have you seen The Princess Bride, Tony?
No, I've not. So I'll put that as a 10.
So it's Wesley, the Man in Black, versus Inigo Montoya.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that.
Till my father prepared to die.
Yeah. Classic. I'll put that as 10 though.
It is pretty low for me. I mean, it's a classic, but it's not that epic. It's a short-lived fight. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
No one does. Yeah. Is it number 10? It might be. I think it is 10. You're 10 too?
Yep.
Okay. Have you seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Yes.
So it's King Arthur and the Black Knight, and I think it's...
Merely a flesh wound?
Yes.
Yeah, that one is a classic, and it's funny.
But it's not epic.
I'm doing 9. I'm
Yeah.
doing 9. It's very quotable, but
it's not epic, you know?
Yeah, I'm not gonna...
I agree.
I'm not gonna watch it multiple times. I'll watch it the one.
The Duel of Fates, Tony. It's Qui-Gon.
Thank you.
It's Qui-Gon.
God, I was waiting for that. Number 2, baby.
I had to put it 4 because that's the only thing I have left.
Oh my gosh, I was waiting for that. I was like, there was no way you're telling me. Because here's the thing, or a little Star Wars heavy, but at the same time too, there's no way you're gonna tell me that you can't not put Duel of Fates on an epic battle.
Right.
You can't. You just can't.
All right, we got 2 left. I've got 6 and 7.
I got 6 and 7 too.
Oh, okay.
Wow, why are we the same?
Luke versus Vader in Episode 6.
Oh man,
it's kind of slow.
Yeah.
It's not really that exciting, you know?
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is that like what it means is much more
correct
versus what's
how
actually happening. Yeah. I think the other thing too is that like they weren't trying to go all out because they didn't have the technology to actually go all out. You know what I mean? They were just kind of they literally had like lights on these sticks and they're rotating. You know, I'm gonna go 7.
Me too. I'm
So
holding
little
out
less.
that there's gonna be Oh, okay. I wish it's the Battle of Helm's Deep. It deserves higher than a 6, but that's the only thing I have.
Yeah, if I just switch mine up, this one I'd actually switch up.
Yes, I would.
I would put Helm's Deep. So first and foremost, I would think okay. I love the Qui-Gon Yoda battle. I'm gonna take that out though. I'm gonna put that down, way down. I'm gonna put Helm's Deep up. Pelennor Fields and Helm's Deep. I'm going to put those up. So basically, Pelennor Fields is going to take over my Thanos battle.
I agree.
And then I think the Helm's Deep is going to take the spot of number 2 number 3, which was my Count Dooku versus Yoda. Yeah. I think I'd make those Lord of the Rings battles.
So 1 has to be Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
2 Helm's Deep's number 2 for me, and then Pelennor Fields.
Duel of Fates is 4? It's got it. Where's Duel of Fates?
Yeah, it has to be number 4.
All right.
Well, it's...
when I was thinking, because here's my problem.
2, Duel of Fates, and then Pelennor Fields.
There it is.
That's how it is.
Okay, so mine's a little different. Mine switched for mine. My Helm's Deep and Pelennor Fields are different. But really, my Helm's Deep and my Duel of Fates is different switch. But the reason why it impacted me so much is I will never forget where I was watching that. just for the first time, and I was young too. I mean,
Yeah.
I was 10, maybe a little less, probably
2005 is when the third one came out, or something like that.
Yeah, I had been like 9, 9 or 10. I remember watching it, being like, "Oh my!" When he brings out a second blade, and they just, peak, awesome. But
I am no man.
I am no man. Yeah, which
Because
is
Mary
like
stabs him, and then he loses his connection to
Yeah,
Sauron.
which is really funny because it
it's a
is all
blade.
about the Mary's stab. It has nothing to do with,
Right.
but no, it was a really cinematic moment. I do love that. But yeah, the Mary stab was very
Is
critical.
it a Morgul blade he stabs him with, or
Yeah,
what?
it's the
That's-
blade that Tom Bombadil gives him. So
Oh.
it's not a Morgul blade, but it's the
which is not really evident in the movies because Tom Bombadil's not there. That's
correct.
right.
But he does stab him with something, and they show that stab.
And he
and
falls.
then there's
you
that
see,
light.
and
You
that's,
see the light
and that's
come
his
out.
connection leaving. But they don't. It's not explained in the
It's
movie.
not explained. Yeah.
Well, there you go, listeners.
Yeah,
not to rain on Eowyn's parade. But
Eowyn's so cool. She still
it's-
stabbed him in the
yes,
face. Yeah. She still fought him, even though she knew it wasn't going to work. And
Yeah.
it just so happened that this hobbit had the one
tool. Yeah.
The bomb that is the size of a womp rat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to kill the Death Star, basically. But yeah, Mark. No, I think that's fantastic. It's just super fun. Thanks, Taylor, for filling out that
Absolutely.
information.
Thank
Totally
you.
appreciate it.
So with that, thanks for listening. As always, please reach out with questions, mix-ups, what-if ideas. If you guys want to come up with these 10-question games, we'd be happy to do those as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're so much fun. So, yeah, if you're asking yourself, hey, where can I reach out? Please follow us and chat with us at the Live Laugh Lore Pod, and that would be on Twitter or X and Instagram, or you can email us at the livelaughflorepod@gmail.com. That's livelaughflorepod, POD, @gmail.com.
Thanks, guys.